Hey, welcome back to the shed. You know, after my video where I tested the X-Fusion suspension, I really thought about it, and I never really even made any kind of video on the fork on this bike, the Suntour Auron. I could even be saying that wrong, I don't know. But it's pretty high up as far as Suntour performance forks go. And it has an MSRP within about $20 of the X-Fusion Trace fork. So it's kind of comparable. So I thought today I was going to go out and I'm going to try to video the fork action, and hopefully we'll get a real visual difference between the two forks. Let me tell you about the bike a little bit first. This is about a 2021 Polygon Cascade 4, and it's been mulletized. It's got a 26-inch rear wheel, knobby nick. It's an 11 to 50 11-speed setup. I think it's a 34-tooth sprocket chain wheel on the front. It's 27.5 on the front with a WTB Vigilante tire. And this is about the fastest bike I have right now. I'm really happy with it. Let me tell you a little bit about the fork. So I paid $200 for the fork, brand new in a box on eBay. It has 35 millimeter stanchions. When I received the fork, it was 160 millimeter travel, and I took it apart and put some spacers in there to bring it down to 130. So right now it's 130 millimeter travel. It weighs 4.8 pounds, so it's about a half pound heavier than the Trace. Has rebound adjustment, obviously. It's a through axle boost. But what I need to point out here, it has low speed and high speed compression adjustment, which is really nice. So yeah, I figured it's about time to give this fork a little bit of a review. So hang on, we're going to go take it for a ride, and I'm going to show you some GoPro footage. All right, so this is a little bit different than the last comparison when we were comparing a coil spring fork to the X-Fusion, because both these forks are really smooth. There's no doubt about that. But if you look on the right side, you look at the Suntour. Now this is both the same trail, not the exact spot, but that Suntour is moving a lot. Like, it's really complying to the small bumps and roots and whatever else I'm running over. Now the X-Fusion, yeah, it's working good and it's smooth, but I think it's pretty easy to tell that the Suntour is moving a whole lot more. I think that's the biggest thing right here. I mean, it's not as obvious as when we were comparing it to the coil spring fork, but I think it's pretty easy to see the difference between the two forks. That's all right. That's all right. What is with your foot coming off them pedals? Yeah. All right, so this is the same trail we did the other videos on. Obviously this is a hardtail. But I'm telling you, this fork is plush in the front. And I get way too much speed on this hardtail. And it just changes direction way too quick. But I can tell it's definitely trying to stick to the ground. I guess it's not apples to apples, hardtail to full suspension. Whoa. Yep. Right? Yeah. Right. Alright, so here we are, back from the ride. Let me start out by saying, on that trail, I'm definitely more comfortable on the Lotus, so it becomes hard to compare these two bikes. Right? You can't compare them. It's not apples to apples. But let's talk about just the forks. Let's try to stick to the forks. So This fork, the Suntour Auron, definitely more plush, definitely complies to the surface way better. Like it has low speed compliance, has high speed compliance. I think you could see in the video, it's just moving more, it's just doing more. It's a little bit stiffer, it's 35 millimeter stanchions. I really couldn't feel that. It's a ½ pound heavier, I really couldn't feel that. The X-Fusion fork, ½ pound lighter. The bike overall felt like I could change directions more smoothly, more confidently. But then again, is it because it's full suspension? But the fork itself is a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. It goes from not really doing a whole lot on smalls to really working awesome when you're riding the thing hard. I would almost say it's even a little better when riding it hard, but is that maybe because it goes from not doing so good to all of a sudden doing good? You know, it's kind of hard to say. I don't really have a numbering system or anything like that, but between the two, I have to pick the Suntour. I really feel it worked a whole lot better. Now that being said, it also winds up to what you can get a deal on, right? Because prices on forks right now vary so much. You know, the MSRP means about nothing. And to be honest, this is the highest end fork I've ever used, the Suntour Auron. It was the highest end fork that I've ever ridden with. So that's as far as my experience level goes with it. So we're gonna leave it right there. You saw the footage, you can decide for yourself. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you next time in the shed. The only other thing I got to say is the faster I ride this budget stuff, the more respect I got for the Tick.